Three, we are live. So, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are joining from. My name is Rashid Oguniro, and we are on Niger Data Platform. And so, what we do on this platform is bringing understanding of digital tools that will help our viewers to solve real life world problem and understanding the application of this tool. And so we have started over 10 weeks ago. So this is the 10th week. And so today we have a speaker in the house, an amazing man. And I'm looking at his profile and I'm scared because when I'm looking at this profile, I don't even know where to start from. But I refuse to be intimidated. I know he started from somewhere. So one of these days I will join him also. Is the name of our presenter is Mr. Gabriel Onifade. He'll be taking us through a project on work solving a world problem with an Azure machine learning. Who is this man we're talking about? He's a system engineer, he's a Microsoft Azure data engineer, and a data scientist who has facilitated and managed training and has impacted thousands of participants on digital skills in Africa and beyond. Not only that, he has been a speaker in US-based CS for All International Community called in 2021, a presenter at 2020 CSC International Conference, and he also presents some US universities on data analysis and Python development career training in Nigeria. At the moment, Mr. Gabriel serves as the president of the US-based Computer Science Teachers Association in Nigeria chapter. And over decades, Mr. Gabriel also has experience working on the data warehouse team of a bank, where he served as a member of the predictive data analysis team in 2020. This multi-talented Gabriel functioned as senior academic officer and the solution architect at a startup he co-founded in 2015. Gabriel has got numerous training and certification from Microsoft, IBM, SAP, Google, and NC Lab. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you our speaker today, Mr. Gabriel Onifade. You have the floor, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rashid. Thank you. It's my pleasure. So, our viewers, welcome again. I greet everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, uh, depending on whatever part of the world we are joining us from. So, today we are working on project work, solving real life problem. Fortnight ago, I anchored another training on data science. You may want to see that. I'm going to post that in the chat. Maybe our moderator can post it in the chat window for us. So because I may be making one or two references to that. So now, and then this training of today is also an improvement on the feedback that we got in the previous classes that I've anchored. About a month ago, I anchored one on data engineering, and the feedback was that they needed more practical base. So the one that was done fortnight ago, there were some practical, and then it was advertised to be for market people. But then another feedback is that people were like, "We are market people. You sound so technical." So today, we are going to improve on that, and then I'm also trying to be more generous with the screen, so that if you want to come back to see the video, you can pause it, you can view it. The time really is short for us to solve real problem, but what I've done is to share the screen of what you are going to see when you want to repeat these things yourself. Um, I'm not sure I have the feedback form, but you can always send in your feedback to us, maybe in the comments. So we get started. Again, the title, solving real life problem. With, now, in my approach, what I will always do is to like share a kind of diagram to show us what I'm likely to do. And like I said in the class I took fortnight ago, that if I can successfully explain this diagram to you, then I think we are good to go. So what we are trying to do today is simply represented in this diagram. And again, I'm going to also piggyback on my previous classes. I have also borrowed some slides from my previous classes, and then I will also try to explain to us so that we can be more comfortable getting started with data science, data engineering. The essence of doing all these things is to solve our business problem, is to create value to our customer. That is what brings money to us. So one of the tools in the Azure machine learning is the Synapse Analytics tools. And then the Synapse Analytics helps us to work on our data, to transform our data, and then to bring our data together from the various platforms to work on it as we want. Is to help us in authoring our reports. But after working on all this data that we have from the various sources, we are not going to leave them in the data warehouse.
Listen,
Yes, please.
can you make your screen full so that our viewers can see the diagrams very well?
Yes, it's full. I'm sharing the second screen, which is full.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Just want to be sure. Thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah, please. I'm sharing second screen. But you can make it bigger if you want. So, yes. So, as I was saying, the Synapse Analytics tool can help us work on our data in the various sources. Maybe in your business, what you are used to is just the tables, columns and row of your business. Or you're a banker, you work in the data warehouse or in your office. But then there are some other factors, some other stakeholders, some other information, data that impacts on your business. And in this 21st century, we have said data is the new oil. And the way I've interpreted that is that in the industrial revolution, it was the oil that was driving it. Now, in this fourth industrial revolution or the digital economy, data is the oil to keep business moving, to keep things moving for sustainability and continuous improvement. So, getting this data from the various sources, we have the modern warehouse, which is the ADLS. Simply means the Azure Data Lake System Gen 2. We have Gen 1. So Gen 2 is the more recent one, and it has what? The Synapse Analytics capability. So you can, and this data lake, just like you have a lake, you have a pool, you have an ocean. So the data lake can take so many data in the various forms. So I would like us to see this as a pool that can accommodate our data in whatever form it is, either in the traditional tables, or it is audio file, or it is just sensor or temperature or noise from a manufacturing system. All these form of data from IoT devices, a video monitoring system, surveillance camera, data in whatever form, social media data, can all be accommodated in this data lake. And that is what our Azure data lake. So this data can be connected, can be worked upon. So Synapse Analytics is one of the tools that can work directly on those data in whatever form they are. So, and that is one of the tools we use in machine learning. So as I continue, you may be seeing some of the slides that I spoke about in the last time. So that Synapse Analytics has this special capability to work on our data in different form. But then this data How do we make use of this data? We are business people. All we want to see is graph, tables and rows. I want to see the trend. I want to be able to talk to my data and get response. I want predictive analytics. I want things that affect my business. So we can now connect this to the Power BI. The Power BI is a data visualization tool. It is a reporting tool. So we have Power BI services, which is online or we can have on our mobile phone. And we have our Power BI desktop on the computer that we can use to create reports. We can have different pages. So this data in different formats that they have, we can work with our existing data. With Azure Data Lake and machine learning, we can leverage on more advanced capabilities of technology, and we can predict what will happen next to our business. I was telling somebody the meaning of my name, Onifade. In those days, it used to be what? The Onifade people, they are the knowledgeable ones. People that tells you what will happen to your business. People want to do business. They want an insight. They want to know what has happened in the past. They want to know the current situation of the business. They want to understand the error file, the log file, the bonus, the additional performance of the business, and they want to be able to predict into the future the success of the business, the sustainability of the business. So they want to be able to assign, go into contracts, they want to go into features. So data analytics, whatever your business is looking like, these data analytics are advanced features of machine learning, data science can really help you to do more and to get more from your business, and that's to keep you relevant in the 21st century. So the Azure Data Lake is the modern data warehouse that can accommodate data in the various formats. So this Synapse now has a kind of dedicated server pool that can work directly on your data. If you say, well, I know about SQL, I heard about Python, whatever language you are comfortable with as a programmer, you can use that. You can say, select this row, select this column, bring them together, find the average, find the sum. You can do some calculation on it. And Power BI can even help you more to get more insight on that. So doing this, so whatever your business is, bring them to the Azure Data Lake with machine learning, data science operation. You work on it using the capability of this data synapse, and then you can now link it. You can have a data flow linkage to your Power BI services or Power BI desktop, and you can consume your data in any way you like that makes sense to you and that can impact directly to your business. So the advantage of machine learning, the advantage of this ML, machine learning or data science, is to give you a more deeper insight behind the scene into the history, into the present and insight, and into the future about that business. So you will still do your business normally the way everybody is doing it, but with data science, you are becoming more powerful. You are more empowered to get the best and to do more and to get more from your business. We are business people. I mentioned from a data warehouse, you can see on the screen here, you can have your data from different devices, whatever social media, video, I can see on the screen here, whatever they have, bring them together, and then they are worked upon on the what? Azure Data Lake with the Synapse Analytics. And then you have a data flow connection to connect it to your to your Power BI, where you can plot a graph or get a table or see a dashboard to see more insight of how those data from the various sources impact on your business. That is the data flow we spoke about. And so when your data flow has connected your data, the additional data that you did not know what to do with before, you can now create a relationship on the Power BI to get more insights on your data. We are going to do something similar to this, and you may understand this better later. So you are trying to create something to solve your business problem, and machine learning or data science as an automated system to really solve all these things for you. All those things we have mentioned, say, how do I do it? Data science, Azure as what? That's what we call automating Azure machine learning. Okay. So automating this machine learning, there are stages you have. You can get started faster. There are processes in the Power Platform to really help you to automate these processes, and then you can have predicted repetition of those data, and you can have better insights. So this is just a diagram of the model. Like we have mentioned that the Azure Synapse provide serverless SQL pool, like I showed you in that diagram, that enables you to decouple SQL query engine. I don't want to bug you with the grammar here, but what this story is telling you is that whatever form, whatever shape your data is it a video, you went for an event, is it a map, a geomap of your environment, is it a temperature from your manufacturing equipment, is it noise, is it data, is it social media record, and whatever it is, the Synapse Analytics has a system, which is what the serverless SQL pool to connect to that data, and then whatever language you understand to query the data, you can use it in your Power BI. You can even speak to it, and that language, because of the data flow connection, we query that data, and then it can predict to you and give you results. So very simple as that. Okay, so let's continue. In the past, you have mentioned your data. Maybe you have tried to understand some of these things. Some say there are just three types of data, maybe block file, and object. Okay, now I've explained to you we have blob, and that blob can be a blob. So when you say block, don't get it confused. It's just like your USB drive. So we are just using all this jargon. You can have your data on your hard drive or your external drive you are plugging to your system. That is what we call your blob. Okay, so your blob, it can also be an append in case your, just the different names we call the same thing. Okay, now in case your data is in the cloud, we mentioned at the time you can even use machine in the cloud. We call it cloud computing. The hard disk, the drive that is connected to it there in the cloud, is called the append blob, and that can store your video, your text, whatever format you. Sorry, that is the page blob. Your append blob is like a log file. You append, you want to get record input. Maybe there's an error or there's a performance. I want to see how is my machine performing. So the log file is like a reporting system to mention every step. Maybe somebody logged in, somebody deleted something. The log file is keeping record of every activities of your system. So that is the append blob. And then the page blob is the disk that is connected to your server in the cloud. You also have some file. You can have maybe SQL file or whatever file format you have. And some file can have metadata. Okay, those ones, they call them object file. Okay, so that's another type. Then you can also have table, like your Excel table, your SQL table. And then we have queue as well that can use asynchronously on some systems. These are just the types of data. So I'm trying to mention some of these so I can be more comfortable to know that what we are talking about, they are not something so strange. They are what we are doing, and they are what we can do better. So, like I mentioned, you can have your local computer to work with. That your local computer can connect to another computer in the cloud. I mentioned cloud computing is another person's computer, only that it's a more powerful computer that gives you all this more capability of machine learning, data science in the cloud. All you need to do is to have your internet connection, connect to it, and you make use of it in your business without disturbing yourself about too much of all these things. And then by the time you understand this, you can now go deeper to understand better. Then we also have attached compute, like the data bricks, a more advanced system for storing our. So these are the various places where our data can be worked upon. And then we also mentioned at the time how we can work on our cluster in the last class. So where we are keeping our data in the cloud is called the data store. Okay, so we have mentioned the Azure data lake, database, and those ones they are called the data store. And then your data store, what are the consideration in the cloud, in the data lake? There is a format the Azure Synapse can work on your file that will help it to give you a better performance. And normally we have some file, you save Excel file. When you say save your documents, you call it doc file. Then XLS file is for Excel. Now another format for analysis, we use the CSV, basically for our tables. But there's a format called the packet file format. That is what is better used on the Azure data lake. Yes, the Azure data lake can use other formats. I hope you are going to see a practical aspect of how we do that. But the packet format will help you to get more from your data without wasting much time. So how do you now get your data to the cloud? We have mentioned in the past, these are the tools you can use to copy your data on your phone. I need this thing, I need to analyze this thing with the record that we are working with in the business, or maybe another company, you get it. So you have taken area photograph, you had it. So these are some of the tools we can use to move our data to the data store in the cloud. Now, your data is in the cloud and your machine learning operations want to work on it. They are worked upon as data sets. And that data set can be in form of a table, tabular data set, or a file data set. We have mentioned about this in the past. I'm just trying to move back. But then the packet file format I mentioned to you works as a data frame. So all these our data sets will be converted to another format for the Azure Synapse or machine learning to work better on them. And that is what the data frame. Now, after data has worked on it, right there on your machine learning data science platform, you can see that data. But that platform is not very optimized for the way you work with your data or your table in your business. That is why we connect to Power BI for better visualization and understanding of those data. We have mentioned those data in the data lake can be JSON file format, CSV file format, or the packet I mentioned, or I format. Whatever format it is, the Synapse Analytics can work directly on those data. In the past, we have also mentioned that for your blob file, there's the window Azure blob storage format that is more optimized for working on your data. So I'm just showing all these things so that you can get familiar with them. Now, we also mentioned about some other file format that you must have
Hello.
What happened,
Good,
Mr. Rashid?
good. I want to assume that the
You lost.
network issue, we lost him.
Can we call
I,
him, please?
let's give him some minutes. He should reconnect. Um, good evening, viewers. I want to believe that we have a technical issue with Mr. Onifade. So please, I want to appeal to us to please hold on for some minutes. We'll call him and let him know because he might not know. He might just continue to present and not knowing that he's already disconnected. Thank you. Just some minutes, please. So, good evening, everyone. We apologize strongly for the technical challenge. We all know the situation in Nigeria. However, we have learned a lot of things. For me, this is very deep. This is very deep. I mean, machine learning. I've been looking at data engineering and some of these terms. To me personally, it was difficult for me to even you know understand it. But I think Mr. Onifade is doing a very good justice to it today. I mean, for him, he was just breaking it down. Like me now, when I see a blob storage before, I don't know that it's just like an hard drive. And so, his style of teaching is something that I truly enjoyed and appreciate. So it appears that our presenter is back online, and so I will now hand over the baton to him so that he can continue from where he stopped. Sorry, Mr. Odifade, it appears the Nigeria network has threw you out suddenly. So you have the floor, sir. Can you hear me, Mr. Odifade, Mr. Gabriel? Can you hear me?
Yes, please. I can hear you.
Okay. Go on, sir. Go on, sir. Go on, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, like we tried to explain, sorry about that break. As we try to explain, the Synapse Analytics asks so many capability that we can see, like I've mentioned to us. So you can always come back later and pause this video. We mentioned some of this in the past. So some of those things you plug to it, like the Azure Databricks. On the Azure Databricks also, whatever profession is, you can also work on the Azure Databricks on your data as well. And then we also mentioned our data factory. Our data factory is like your ETL, the normal way data warehouse that people use in their offices. But there's a more powerful one that is in the cloud. Just connect with your internet. So your office, you have your server, you have the way you are doing your business, and they are saying, we want more insights. We want to get more from this business. You don't need to throw away what you have. Just subscribe, do more in the cloud, and those files you are getting, add it to what you have here. So there are some the server you have cannot work on a blog, cannot work on video and all that. Do all those things in the cloud. The table you get, connect it to your data warehouse that you have, and then you can get more from your business. Also, you can connect data from your data warehouse to your Azure Data Factory, as I've mentioned in the past. Also, the Azure Databricks. So now we spoke about the Azure Synapse Analytics. Okay, it takes advantage of the Apache Spark. Now, in my opinion, the Apache Spark is like Agbero. Look at that diagram. Apache Spark can work on any data, different jaga direction. Pull from here, but because it's an open source, okay, but there's a driver that is making it to work on it. So our Azure Synapse, you now say, Oga, come now, calm down. I'll create a cluster for you. Do all those your jaga work. Bring it. I'll be picking from your head. Cass is a smart guy. So that's what Microsoft has made available to us, that we can actually work smart. Allow the open source to work the way they want to work. Then we are going to optimize that performance. And that's why we have even what we call the HD Insight, which is the Microsoft managed version of the Apache Spark. So data in different formats can be integrated to form our pipeline. We have mentioned in the past that our pipeline is the combination of all the activities you want to work. You want to divide the data, you want to clean the data, you want to remove missing row, you want to find the average, all those things, all those activities you want to do on your data. It forms a pipeline. And those pipeline can give you what? Your data sets you can work upon. And those pipeline, when you deploy it, and we have mentioned in the past, deploying it is like maybe creating something like a website, like a form, depending on how you now connect to that link. It's just creating a link for you. And that's what we call an inference. So you now want to predict about that data you have worked that, okay, what if it's like this? Now, that inference can now take that data from you, and you still work through this model. So this all this activity we put together, they form the pipeline, and then all of them, when you deploy it, everything becomes a model, just like your format of solving a problem, okay, or your solution to a particular problem. So all these things are the various capabilities that we have in the data science environment. So creating the model, we have mentioned all this in the past. All those things you can do, just like, and the uh, data factory has this drag and drop. Even your cluster, you can do some drag and drop. I want to do this one. I want to, so just all those activities together form your pipeline. We have mentioned all this in the past. Data preparation, data scoring, training your data, evaluation, all those things are there together. We have mentioned some of these things. So I'm just saying that even in the cloud, you can just do some drag and drop of some of these statistical operations that will be performed on your data. Microsoft has made those experiments. Those experiments are the various experiments are all the activities. So we are just using this big word, but they are just the things you need to do in preparing your data, just the way you talk about your business, the things you want to hear. There are like libraries, there are modules, there are models that can actually perform all those things for you. So all these things, just do drag and drop of those models as if you are playing game, bring them together. I want this, just the way you like going to Mama Put. I want Shaki, I want this one, and you pick everything, you get a balanced diet. The same way you create a model for your food that you want to consume, and then you can use it for various purposes. So even after putting all those things together, even on Power BI, you can create an asset view that, okay, maybe based on rules and regulation, maybe data governance, this one can have access to this data, this one can see this one cannot see this role. You can have Power BI asset to say, okay, this developer, this one is a consultant, this is what they can do. You can also create that asset like a model in Power BI to deploy your solution. So like we mentioned in the last one I did a fortnight ago, like I said, you have your computer. This is our experiment. What is happening in that cloud? You have your computer. The Azure machine learning workspace just to create an environment for you. This computer target is actually another computer in the cloud to work on your data. But that computer will create an environment, for that data. So if you have been hearing something like Conda, that's Anaconda, you'll be hearing Python. So Python, just a name of a program, some scripts, some rules and regulations that somebody has written that this is the way I want this thing to work. You just call it that name. It's not a big deal. So, and when you bring all those things together, they are like libraries. So this library will require these activities. So we call one Docker image. It's just an environment that will be automatically created for you. That is where you can perform all those experiments, all those drag and drop operations. That is where they can take place. So that is why I said it's very simple for market people. Do some drag and drop of those. If you really know what you want, say it even into Power BI like we are talking to somebody. Define your goals, and then there are libraries. If you can be bold enough, follow us, go into the cloud, into Azure, do drag and drop of all those things, and then you have the experiment output, and then all those output, you can just bring it to your computer and then to Power BI to do your business. And then you have your reports, just the normal way. You can easily see which one is the highest, which one is the lowest, which region is my customer coming from. So this is just like talking about everything that we've been doing, and then so that we can be more comfortable with it. So what we need to do to create that in Azure, you need your storage account to get started, and then you can use Azure Synapse pipeline. We have shown an example of those are the activities that we just call it pipeline. Then create a workflow, how you want those data to be done, to be worked upon, and then there's a node pipeline, an environment where you can be running all those code to work on it. Then set parameters for dependencies so that everything can work as you expect. Again, we have our data sources, your data source, data storage, which we have mentioned, and then it can also be real-time messaging. That one you don't need to store real-time. Last mile, you see car moving, they want to arrest a car. You don't store that one. Immediately, you will see the car moving. You see, many of us, we are football fans. How do you think they used to capture when somebody committed an offense in football? It's data science, because they will have done machine learning training the football. If you kick at this angle, this has to move. if that thing is deflected, the direction has changed. You see, so that one can just trigger the referee or the people watching at the back end to see this, and the video will now play back to show this what happened there. Okay, so the referee cannot be getting an alert, just blow. You will not even know what happened. It is when the video now play back. So how did that referee see this thing very, very fast? That is the use of. So you're a football lover. Let us put all this into perspective. Know this is how they really get all these things. So if they are working on them together, that's what we call batch processing. So machine learning is those experiments you perform on it, and then apart from working on them in batch, maybe there are some stream you working on them as they come. You don't store them. That was stream processing. Bring everything together. We have the analytical store, like our data warehouse, where Synapse can work on it, and then we can report on Power BI. So all these things give us what we call data development, CI, that's continuous integration of the data from the various sources, and then continuous delivery to our database. So we have continuous integration, continuous delivery, we have our data flow, we are getting the report in real time, and then our business continue and we do better. So your data, the modern data can be, in different formats as we can see here. And like I've mentioned in the past again, you have been hearing things like Kafka, Oracle, Elasticsearch, Logsearch. So depending on the type of data you are working with, relational databases are the things use MongoDB. So if you can pause and see, so that you can be more comfortable with the data and know the tools that you can really use in solving your problem. And we are working with data. You can also work as a data analyst. You can work as a database administrator or any role. And your data can be diagnostic data or predictive data, as I've mentioned in the past. It can also be an intelligent data for artificial intelligence system. So you are trying to solve a problem. You can see maybe you have developer, you report to this developer, to the marketer. So these are the various interactions for developing or solving your data science problem. And then if you can state step by step what you want to do, you can develop a model that will show how to solve that problem. And when you are solving that real life problem, you have to continuously go back to it to improve on it. That is the life cycle of your data. Again, you build a model, you create form view. These are just the way the business people will work in solving the data problem. Okay. Now, and we mentioned continuous integration, continuous improvement, and then there are some other powerful tools also to bring everything together. We'll be talking about Power BI. There are still other tools that can bring everything together. I believe some other platform can also show you more about it. That is just things we need. So I just want us to demystify these various things we hear to know that this thing is really needed for our business. So our Synapse Analytics to work on the data, Power BI to present it. Then we have the purview. If you have been hearing about purview, it's like data governance to control. Maybe you have been planning, you want to be a governor one day. Yes, you can start by being a data governor. I will call you His Excellency Mr. Rashid is the data governor for this organization. And from there, you become the real governor of your house and the governor of your state eventually. So that is how the purview works. And then practical part of it, I hope we still have time. I think my time is gone, but let's just try to walk through this. So like I said, you start by getting your subscription. You sign in. It's free. You can start as students. You sign in. Then next you click create resource. When you click on create resource, then you type a search for Azure Synapse. Then you can, from there, click on create. Next, you enter all the credentials needed. Before you know it, click on create, and then your resources will be deployed. This is the Azure Synapse that we use in working on your data. After that, go to your resource. Then, so when you are working on this on your own, these screenshots can actually guide you to what you are likely to see. Then click. Now, another way, some people they like to work with some ready-made tools, like Cloud Shell. This is just a repetition of what I've shown you, so don't get confused that I'm a market person. So if you are comfortable with this, you can still use the Cloud Shell to get started to do exactly the same thing that we have done before in deploying our Azure Synapse resource. So you start this way. Then there's a GitHub repository. There's a script you will run there that will provision everything for you instead of just going through all those steps one by one. Now, after that is done, the same way I said, go to your workspace. So it takes you to your workspace. You click on Open Synapse Studio, and then this is where you can begin to do our wonders. Now, another way to hit. Now, you need to create a connection, maybe between your Synapse and your Power BI. So there's an option for you. That is how you can do it. After that has been created, then you publish it. Okay. Now, I was working with some geospatial data. Okay. Maybe in a particular society, you want to know what is topography, what is the map, what are the resources. So all these things, they are there for you that you can take advantage. So you publish it. Then after you publish, when you publish, now you go to develop. Just follow what you can see on the screen. You can go to browse gallery, and in the browse gallery, you can now see a lot of experiments that have been performed. Some standard way of solving your business problem has been done. You can just, in fact, some of them, they are like training steps. So go to them, pick anyone. Are you a banker? You know how it relates to your business. Work with them step by step. Those are the various experiments. So this notebook, they are like experiment steps for machine learning operations in solving your business problem. When you create those models, connect to Power BI and see the report in tables and in graph visualization. You also have some pipelines. I told you, example, just go there and see the ones that can be suitable for your business. You also have some database templates. Are you into banking, oil and gas, fund management? Templates are here that you can really use and put directly into your business. Also, there are data sets, that is data that you can really use to practice enterprise data capability. So do you have experience in, you can just come here and get real life experience on all these things. So then there are also some scripts also that can really teach you how to really factor your own script. You can see all those ones also here. So all those things are here. So you must to create the link, you publish it. Like I said, come to manage, and then you can publish your workspace or your link to work on your data set. Now, the purview that I mentioned is also here. The purview, that's how you can govern your data and control who has access to what and how your data should be performed. Now, I have a workspace here. So if you follow that option of using the SDK, you can have some data sets have been brought in here for you. You can see it here. I told you have to publish. If you publish, you have to refresh again to be able to see them. So now, we mentioned your different data types, CSV. So this one has CSV format. There's a sales file here. If you go in, you see CSV. You can preview it. When you preview, you see table. Now this table is having no column, no column. So let's turn off this column, and then you now preview. Let's see another. That's just one format of the data. Let's see JSON format also. This is how JSON file looks like, and then we have also our package file. So we have to like drill down, follow sales package from then to different years. So for package file format, we need to load into data frame. So load into data frame, as you can see on the screen. Now let's now start with our CSV file. Let's run a simple script on it. Say select the top 100 rows. Now they tell you to select the file format. We are choosing text format as the CSV. Now, what do we see here? When you do it, you can publish, that's to save your file. And then you run it, that script. When you run it, you see we have our tables here. But you see that file we saw when we preview, there was no column. And the Azure Synapse just generated C1, C2. That column name does not make sense to our business. Okay? So now let's see if we have something that is better. Let's now do the same thing using what? The packet format. And let's take notes, the format of how our Azure connects to our data is using the open row set. I'm going to see more of that as well. Now, let's We now use the
Hello,
package
sir.
format. Sorry. Yes.
Hello,
Your time
sir.
is
So
gone.
sorry, I have a brief announcement.
Okay,
You have
please.
5 more minutes, and not only that,
Okay.
I want to tell our viewers that we have already dropped a feedback form in the chat room. We are here because of your feedback. Look at what Mr. Gabriel said at the beginning, that based on the feedback, he knows that he needs to build on what he has done in the past. So we need you to please fill this feedback. It's very, very important to us. And if you have any question, please send it to chat room. Also, you can go on, sir. 5 minutes more, sir.
Okay, thank you. So now, so we have tried that with the CSV file. We see that we're having limitations. The Synapse just generated column name for us that are not relevant to our data. Now let's do the same thing in the packet. We run it and we see that packet was able to drill down into the file, into the folders and subfolders, and brought out the real name for the column names. Okay, that is relevant to the data. So packet file format has been optimized for you to get more from your business. Apart from that, we run another query here and we want to find order in years. The CSV will not give us all this because it cannot go into the subfolders. There are no partitions, but the packet file format, the data frame, has been optimized so that you can really in real time get more from your data. So that is why that format of is preferred in the modern data warehouse. Then we also see the open row set. That is the way to connect to the data lake. So let's take note of that because of exam. Then you publish. Whenever you publish, then you are saving your files. So we also see the JSON format. We are trying the same operation. We also select text format for JSON format, but it will now give you in CSV format. But then there are some generated files that also bring some limitations that need some correction. So that is why our packet file format is a preferred way for querying our data in the data warehouse. One good thing again, this SQL pool can also help you to connect to some external database. See, when your traditional data warehouse, you work on the data, the table that is there. But this one can connect some other data, maybe that video or audio or whatever on social media, and query them in real time. That's one advantage of Synapse. So this is a way to practice, one way to connect to our external database. And then you can go through this. Like I said, I have just 5 minutes more. My time is almost gone. So I just some of the things we can do. So I just try to scroll through so that on your own, you can just pause and practice some of these things. The data
If
side data.
since hello, sir, since there is no question, you can use your 5 minutes too, because I didn't see any
Okay.
question. So I want to assume that everybody understands.
Okay, thank you. So now,
Yes, sir.
so these are just the various ways. So when you are done doing that, then we can add some more query to it. So when you are done doing that, what you can do is to now plug, you publish, that's to save, and then you plot your graph. You can plot your graph, you can change the various formats of the graph. Like I said, change the column, you work on it here. Then you can change the format of the graph. And like I mentioned, this is not the best way to visualize your data. You can connect to data where, but this can give you just an idea of what it can look like. This is also another idea. But then when you connect to connect to your data warehouse, you have to create your workspace in your data Power BI services, and that's your Power BI in the cloud. Power BI on your system on the desktop. That's Power BI desktop. The Power BI online is called the Power BI services. And then on the desktop is the format. This is how it look like. So now you can connect some data. You can on your window, the Git is not automatically there. So download Git, install Git. You can connect to also Git repository, bring in some data to work with on your Power BI. And then here you can do some schema operations on your data to change the tables and the role. And then you can still work more on your data. Then this is also what we call a star schema. You can see relationship among the different tables of the file. For Power BI people, they can talk to you more about this. But what we are saying is that in the Azure machine learning, you can actually do more and get more from your data. I can still bring them down to your Excel or Power BI file, and you use it directly in your business. We see this particular one in the Synapse dashboard, and the same thing can be brought when you create a data flow connection. You can see them here I can do more on the data here. Now, when you are done, don't keep the Synapse is expensive. The Spark pool is expensive. You need to stop it and then you delete it. If you are not using it, don't keep it there. You'll be surprised the way the money will be gone. So delete it if you are not using it. Don't waste resources. So when you just over this, you see option to pause, to delete, and then go to back to your Azure platform. You delete the resource group, and it will also delete every other thing underneath it. So thank you for your time. I hope I've been able to convince and not to confuse you more that the machine,
Wow, 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 wow,
we
wow, wow,
actually help.
wow, 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 wow.
So thank you.
You have not confused me at all. In fact, may I say that you illuminate what has been. We currently concluded a Microsoft challenge by virtue of this ongoing series, and we discussed that okay, let's explore data engineering, and a lot of terms that you use in this your presentation are mentioned. They are there, but this thing they are just too big grammar for me to crack. But thank God I'm here. At least I will be able to, because for me I still need to watch this video on and on again so that I can familiarize with all those terms. Sincerely, I don't know of any other person, but for me, this is very loaded session, and I
Thank
thank
you.
God that I'm here. I'm very happy I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gabriel Onifade. You have
It's
really
my pleasure.
you have really helped my destiny. Let me use that word. What
My
I mean,
pleasure.
your presentation today has really helped me. It's just for me to build on what you've thought of. So, this is how far we have gone. We can go for today. If we allow Mr. Onifade to be talking for the next 2 3 hours, he will not mention a word twice because obviously, in my language, they said there is one proverb we used to talk, we say they said abinibi ó yàtọ̀ sí ability. You know that this one is innate. This man is just loaded. He has so much equipped himself, and so he was just flowing and flowing and flowing. All those fields that are for me a big issue. For him, it's not a big issue at all. So thank you, everybody. He has laid a foundation for us today, and so it is now left for us to build on the foundation that is laid. But before we shut down, Mr. Onifade, I want you to advise us or give us a tip, you know, for an aspiring data scientist like you. What are the areas that you can suggest that the person must take very, very seriously? I mean, how did you do it? Although we know that you didn't get here today, but it's just a tip. You can't tell us everything today, but a little, by the time you put it together, they become big. So, how did you do it? What are your guiding? What are your motivational factors? What are the guiding principles? What are the areas that you took seriously that position you to where you are now for aspiring data scientists? That is just the question
Right.
I'm going to ask you, sir.
All right. Thank you. So it's all about interest. It's about
Okay.
looking for a problem to solve. You want to discover yourself. Okay. For instance, I had a problem. Um, I paid for a piece of land somewhere, and then I only got the survey document, and then I didn't know what to do next. So what I needed to do, the person didn't take me there was asking for more money. So with that survey document, I spoke to a friend that is a surveyor. He showed me the coordinates. So then I put that on Google Map. So and I realized that there are models, even in this machine learning, that can help me to get more accurate geospatial data of that environment. So if you see one of the screen, I was really working on those things. So it's about being curious. If you are curious enough, you know, after getting this basic fundamental, what is it even talking about? Maybe just try to pause the video and practice. Okay, you now want to know more. Yes, those things we mentioned SQL query, you need to have basic understanding of SQL. And that is what I advise. One way to start. It's very easy way. You just select table, select column. From there, sir, you can do more with a Python. Okay, Python again. See, I say Python is like speaking English language to learn. Still take another step like that. So it's a matter of being curious enough and then looking for a problem to solve. And you know that that problem is not just your problem. If you can solve it, it's a business problem for other people too. So you are not just looking at solving your own problem, but you are trying to solve problem in the world. And that is why we are alive. That's why we go to school. So it's about solving social problem. So I think that should spark our curiosity and our interest, and that can help us to actually do more and do next. And then, of course, that challenge also is one way to encourage us to get started. So maybe for those that did not take part in the challenge, I will advise you look out for more opportunities like this and take advantage of it to get started. When you finish one challenge, you want to go to the next one. Little success, celebrate small win, and before you know it, a little step at a time, you become a champion and a superstar.
Wow,
Thank you.
wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Curiosity is very key, and looking for a problem to solve.
Yeah.
Then taking part in some challenge. You know, by the time you go through a challenge from the beginning to the end, something must have sink in there. Thank you so much, Mr. Onifade. I really appreciate this. And for me,
My pleasure.
it's very significant. All that you've done today for me. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone that attended this session, all our viewers. You have heard it, he has said it, he has said a lot. He cannot say it all. So he has said it, he has said a lot. We need to be curious, we need to look for a problem to solve and take part in challenge. All those challenges are like brochure that can really navigate us through these things. So thank you so much, everyone. And so this
Thank
is how
you.
we're going to head for today. And so see you again next coming week, same time. I still remain yours, Rashid Oguriro. So thank you so much, everyone, and let's have an
Thank you.
amazing week. Bye.
Thank you.